Do I need this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It would help if I turn it on. Does that help?
Yeah.
I will put this on my head and use it. There we go. You can still hear me? Is it close enough? There we go. Okay, great. So obviously I am not Joan. And Joan is not here today. She's got a wedding today. And so I'm here, so you're stuck with me.
We're not stuck.
Oh, how sweet. You're not stuck. Oh, you're stuck with me. I know. I am recording this even though I'm not over there. It can record automatically. And so as soon as I get time to download it on my computer, edit it a little bit, to take out any bad words that y'all might say.
Thank you.
And I will put it on our YouTube channel as soon as I get all that done, which Joan says will be next week. So I better get busy. Also, in case you guys didn't notice, it's Veterans Day.
Yes.
And I know we have at least 2 veterans who are both standing up in the back right now. How many more veterans do we have? Any more? Thank you for your service. It is awesome. Was there another hand over here? Did I see another hand?
How about spouses?
Oh, it was clapping. I'd say it was somebody clapping. Okay, cool. I didn't want to miss
Mary
anybody.
Gail, are there any open chairs anywhere?
Are there open chairs?
here.
There's one over there. Okay, we also just received news that Dolly Fox passed away on September 14th. And I didn't recognize the name, but I recognized her face. The obituary is over on the table with our hospitality princess, if you would like to read it over. She was also a Weaverville person, so if you're a Weaverville person, you may have known her from there as well. Nominating committee volunteers are needed to contact members to fill the open positions for March. And you might think, Mary, why are you asking for volunteers now? Well, because March is not that far away. By the time you volunteer and get some ideas of candidates and we get everybody on, right now, I have volunteered to be president next year. A little trepidation about it, but that's okay, that's all right. We need a treasurer, we need a communications VP, we need a community services VP. John has volunteered to be our education VP. That sounds like a round of applause. And Alice would still be our secretary, I hope. Okay. There is a new Hats for Kids chair, which I think we know if we were the last actual meeting we had before the luncheon. Barbara Brash volunteered to store the hats, but we still need somebody that will do all the paperwork of figuring out how many hats we have and making sure that different people get the hats. So we've got somebody that will keep the hats in their house, but we don't have anybody who will make sure that various charities that we know of and that we've been giving hats to for years will be able to get those hats. Does that make sense? I see some confused looks.
Coordinator.
A coordinator. Thank you. Who said that? Yay. Thank you. And we need a coordinator, facilitator type person who can help with figuring out how to distribute the hats. But it's really important to be able to store them. Yes?
Who's the coordinator now?
It's Joan. And she's been doing it for more than a
So
decade.
we need somebody to replace Joe Green.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
It's not, well, we actually need multiple people to replace her. As
It
it
always
turns
takes
out.
more than one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
This-
but I will talk to her and see what that entails.
This
And then-
position can be more than one person. You know, you could have you and your buddy.
Yeah, if you've got a friend and you don't want to do it alone, but you want to do it with your friend, this is acceptable as well.
Yeah, I'll talk to Joan and find out what's all involved, and
Okay.
then I'll,
Awesome.
get back to you at the next meeting.
That's
Because
lovely.
I don't think I pick up the hats until January anyway.
November.
Yeah, November is when
usually.
we start to distribute them.
No, I don't take them until
Office.
January.
March.
No, March.
March or April.
I
Anyway, we'll worry about that later. I'll worry about that later. Okay. Knit-in updates. Are there any knit-in updates that somebody wants to announce? We also need to get them to our knit-in coordinator. But if nobody has any on the floor, that's good. Then now to real business. The minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes from our September 9th meeting, which was printed in the October newsletter? Do I have a motion to approve them? From Linda Wicks. And a second from John Hawley. Excellent. And all in favor?
Aye.
Gosh, you guys are good. I feel like we're all like together on that. And everybody's like, I feel like I should be conducting a lot of singing. That's cool. Okay, treasurer's report. Are there questions on the August or September treasurer's reports? Has Laura sitting right there, so she can answer them if you got any questions. If nobody has any questions, we will forward that on for audit for later on. Okay. Other reports. Administrative co-VP, Michelle Ahrens, who's not here. So now I have to step aside, put on another hat. And this is the summary that I was asked to read for the administrative VP, just mostly about the Founder's Day luncheon last month. We had 72 attendees. That includes members and their guests. Raffle ticket sales totaled $721. Wow. We actually made a profit of $224, which technically we're not, so that'll be invested, if I have anything to say about it, in next year's, to buy like attendance prizes and stuff, to make it even more fabulous, to steal Tony's word, than it was before. But we actually made a profit, which is fantastic, because usually we're in the red on this stuff, so this was great. Chemo hats were our charity focus, and we received 151 hats, in addition to lots of other charity donations that people brought in. And so, thanks to all the volunteers who helped set up, sell tickets, and clean up, especially the cleanup. I remember when I was administrative VP, everybody kind of evaporated when it was over. And to clean up and carry all the junk out of the cars. So, for you guys that stuck with it this year, thank you. That's great. Okay, next year's luncheon will be held on Saturday, October 12th, and we've already put the deposit in at Andres West for that. So, any questions about any of that or other administrative VP stuff that I might not be able to answer? Because I'm technically not administrative VP. And now we come to the communications VP report. Mary? Yes, thank you very much. Communications VP. You have a question? Oh, I thought that was, you're just pulling your yarn, okay? I thought it was a question, and I'm like, please ask a question, because I don't have anything really specific to talk about today, except we're still doing recordings, everything is working well, I think, unless anybody has questions or issues, they can tell me now. And if nobody raises their hand, then we move on to Pam, Community Service VP. Yay. And Pam has to use the microphone because she's soft spoken.
Except for when I curse.
This young lady is part of the,
I'm Alexa from Yarncom. Alexa, can you see me there? Hello. Hello. I'm here in lieu of Heather. She got a little busy at the shop, so I'm here now. We are doing raffle tickets for donated hats. If you checked in with the attendants and you wrote down your hat donations there, I have already got your slips counted. If you did not write your name down and wanted to remain anonymous,
But you
have
want
prizes.
to be in the raffle,
Yes.
see her.
Yes, if you want to be included in the raffle, come see me. We'll fill out a slip with your name on it.
does that make sense? And she will now be Vanna White and show you the wonderful prize that the raffle, we're wave it around,
Give
yes.
a skin of the arm. Really self-serving sock yarn. We have a $50 YarnCom gift card.
Oh, not again.
A $50 YarnCom gift card. We have a $25 Seven Sisters Yarn and Fiber gift card, and a nice surprise book.
So get your votes in both early and often. Okay. I'm still digging out from the hats, but I think there could be like over 300 hats, and then many blankets, most of which or meet criteria for Margaret Tucker, who is in the total back row, yay, and she's the driver behind the NICU car carrier blankets, the light little 30-inch square minimum. There's some other blankets that are extra heavy and extra big. They're probably going to move off with whoever. The Hollies are not here again. Okay. They'll probably move off with me, and I'll get them to the Hollies since I know where both of them live. And Katie Holly is involved with a place called Covenant House that works with young adults that are homeless. And so these items, any item, it could include hats, but there are blankets, there are scarves, we get mittens and everything. A lot of those go to that Covenant House and other places, the shelters of various sorts. So luckily we have 2 people that are going to acquire 50 hats for their organization so that Laura Arante doesn't have to hire a pack mule because they're all going home with her. Okay, any questions about my craziness? I'm going to go back and continue counting.
Counting.
Education VP, thanks.
Susan Rosbach, my co-VP, is not able to be here today. She's not feeling well.
Did that only do
The other end.
Did it get turned off?
It's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right in. Let me
That's
make
it.
sure the light is on.
Yeah, it was on, okay. Okay, I'll hold it closer. Does that help?
Yes.
Susan was not able to be here. She's not feeling well, so she decided to be a little selfish and keep it to herself rather than sharing it with us all. So we say thank you for that. I have a selection of needles up here, which is going to be part of our program. I'm going to go through and talk about a few needle things, and then we'd like you to pull out your favorite needles or your hated needles to share with some other people. The idea here is that there are a multitude of needles out there, different types, different brands, even different brands have different types. And finding what works best for you is kind of hard to do unless you buy everything. So hopefully you will find something today that interests you. If you have something you would like to have people be able to share, I have small balls of yarn that you can take and cast on maybe 10 stitches between meeting and program so that people can do it. Now, the suggestion here is you try them in front of the owner of the needle and leave the needle with the owner. We don't want any of them walking out the door with the new owner. If between meetings, we're going to go ahead and put tables down the middle of each of these sides so that somebody with needles can sit on one side and others can mill around on the other side, and then we'll swap. So about half of you will be showing off what needles you have, and about half of you will be having a chance to taste what they have. So start thinking about what you're going to be doing, what type of needle you need, what size, whether you like interchangeables or not. Hopefully, if you find something you really, really like, you can put it on your Christmas list. Next month is going to be, it's December already? I'm not ready for this. We're going to be looking at about events around the state around the country and outside the country. Anything from someplace that offers classes in a church to river cruises or getting cruises on this ocean. If you have done any of that, would you please let the education know through the education email that's on the website so that we can kind of say we have somebody to cover all of these and we don't have to start calling to see who has done what. So we'd like to have these done, so next year, if you're interested in traveling somewhere, be it Midwest Fiber Festival, or maybe Australia, you can go ahead and make plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. And just a minute before we do fabulous prizes, I wanted to point out that in addition to the charity yarn that I believe we have back there, we also have some books on the registration table. One of them is a Christmas book that I really don't need, so I appreciate it if somebody else takes it, and I don't feel compelled to take that home and have to figure out where I'm gonna put that. And with that said, our hospitality.
I don't need the microphone.
This is true.
Yay. That's what they always said at work. I can hear you down the hall. So are you listening? Because I've always got good stuff to say. I just want to say that as Thanksgiving approaches, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for everybody at the Guild. I'm very thankful for the wonderful friends that I've made. As an adult, we all know it's hard to make friends. But we're fiber addicts. It's great. Second point, Joan has been on the board for 14 years. It is time for other people to step up. I've been on the board 3 times, so it's not hard. You know, most of the stuff's set up for you. Please consider joining the board and give Joan some relief. Okay, today we have 3 visitors. And unfortunately for you visitors, you don't get a chance at the fabulous prizes. But we'll welcome you anyway. Susan Goin. Welcome, Susan, back. Okay. Tana Leedsma? Yep. Welcome, Sean. And Nicole Smitowski. Now she's an undercover agent. She's a SLU senior that's, what do I say?
I'm doing a project.
A project on large groups.
Yes, I have to go to a group where I'm an outsider.
Yes. Well,
I'm taking a smart to it.
She's really not much of an outsider anymore, we get to know her pretty well.
she's been revealed.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. I hope you only say good things. Okay, today we have 44 members. If you've won a prize recently, I'll ask you to give me a number so we can, spread the prizes out. So I've got Joan Esserman. Joan, come on up. Give me one.
I got a prize.
Okay, pick a number for me.
17.
17, okay. That's Ursula. Dave, 1, 2? I already have 1.
Keep trying to apart.
I know. You're doing good.
It's a little wonky, but it's.
Yeah, I will continue.
You're welcome. Let's see, Nita Jones.
She's a new member.
Wow.
It's a little hat kid.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
You're welcome. Diane Shuey. Come on down. Thank you.
I have so much wool. Oh, yeah. Woo, Wednesday wonders.
Great. Get myself Barbara Rollins.
Yay.
Okay,
37.
alrighty. Chris Dwyer. These are those little coilless pins that jump out of your knitting bag. Always need more of those. Okay, Ellen Dorfman. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Tony.
Oh, the job descriptions for the board members are over my table.
Job descriptions are over there, and if you just want to talk to somebody who used to do the job, you think, oh, I would really like to be the communications VP. Come and talk to me. If I haven't done it before, and I haven't done everything on the board, I will point you to somebody who has done it, and so you can talk to them and know what the real story is, for sure. And plus, otherwise you can just read the summary. Any questions? Anybody else have anything else to say right now? Because if not, we're gonna wait. So that clock hand is moving, but it's still wrong. It is 2:22. And they get like really mad if we're late here, so we can't stay past 4 o'clock. Or they'll like, I don't know, I'm afraid. Wait, 10 minutes? Is 10 minutes enough?
Don't we do show
Wait a
and
minute,
share?
you gotta show and share.
I know, we forgot show and share.
And the other thing is, when we do break up, if you could move chairs so we can move some tables in, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, so show and share, and we do not have forms here today. So if you did not bring your own form, we have these lovely pieces of paper.
They're by me.
And they're already ready to go. You just put your name, your pattern, and what kind of yarn you use. So this is it. Make your own form base so that we can get your information right. Because after you show your fabulous work of art, if somebody wants to make one just like it, then they'll know where the pattern came from. Okay? So line up. She's trying. Come on, guys.
Check your yarn before you go.
We'll start here.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
Just here. Thank you. I have a saddle shoulder sweater that I made for one of my adult sons, and it's made in acrylic because I don't trust him. He's not good wool but he is. Everybody asks me, they go, well, aren't your 3 other sons going to be jealous? I said, no. Because I said, he's the one who supports my knitting. He always says, Mom, what do you want in Christmas time in knitting? So I tell him, and that's what I do. So this is a saddle shoulder pullover sweater that I got off of Ravelry. And it's kind of a vintage pattern, so you kind of have to click through a lot. And I did make it with the Premier Anti-Curling medley yarn. He is 6'1", so that's why it looks long.
These are family Jingle Bell hats. I have a baby one for my grandbaby. This is one for one of the guys. They have 3 sizes, a small, medium, and large. We're going to breakfast with Santa, and I decided everybody needs the
I don't remember if I've shown these before, so if If I have, I apologize. I was voluntold by my mother, you're gonna give your brother, sister, nieces, all socks for Christmas. So this is project number 2 of 7. So this is also from the color workbook, and it is using a felted tweed, which I hadn't worked with before. It is a different work. If you're familiar with felted tweed, it doesn't have as much elasticity, so you have to be very careful. This has an I-cord cast on with a Latvian braid, and they said this was suitable for a beginner. Well, but it turned out pretty well, and I'm happy. So on to number 3. I've got that working at my needle. I'm happy with that.
Stephen West contrast glass socks, and they were a mystery knit, and so there were 4 clues. Note the cables down the vest. It was a good pattern though. It was everything was well explained and a lot of new techniques. I really liked it. Highly recommend it. They're very busy though. The contrast glass socks by Stephen West, and then my shawl is Breathing Hope.
So I knitted some strawberries. And they're sachets. And the reason I did it, that this is almost embarrassing, but we have an RV. Some of you know that I like to travel, and our RV had a mouse in it. And if you know me, you also know that I'm an environmentalist, so I'm not going to put mouse poison out, because if the mouse doesn't die immediately, it might go out and be eaten by something that will then die from the same poison. And so I read somewhere, and I'm hoping it's true because it's probably not, but that peppermint oil keeps them away. But then I had to have something to put the peppermint oil in, because the peppermint oil messes with furniture in there. I found out the hard way when I tried to put oil directly in a drawer and all the stuff bubbled up. So I found this pattern, and the original pattern is here. It's strawberry sachets, a Meg Croft design. They looked really cute, so I thought I'm going to make them. They're not. They're knit flat and then sewn together. So again, if you know me, I managed 2 of those before I said, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. That I can bleep that out. But they work great when you knit them in parts like that, and you can look at them later if you want. I'll have them in my bag. But they look great because you can cover a multitude of problems with the pattern because you're sewing it up, right? So you can make them really nice, like strawberry shape, right? And so I thought, well, heck with that. I'm going to knit it in the round. This sewing thing, I can, if I want to sew, I'll get the machine out, right? And do it here. So then the first one I did after that turned out a little more like a peppercini. And the reason was the proportions weren't quite, they didn't have to be perfect when you're going to sew it shut, because when you sew it shut, you can fix a multitude of problems with the pattern. So I kept experimenting. In my last one, I finally started, because the original pattern said cast on 10 stitches, and then you knit and pull back and forth, and then you finish off with the little I-cord stem. So I finally figured out if I cast on 5 stitches and join them in the round, that gave me something pretty close to, they will look like a peppercini. And if it looks like a peppercini, it's only going to be in my RV. You are going to see it, and you probably won't tell. Yeah?
What did you stuff them with? Just regular stuff?
I stuffed it, no, I did not. It says stuff it with cotton balls, but I actually used some recycled old cotton material that I had that was just going to be thrown out anyway, and I like stuffed it in here. And because they don't have to be particularly soft or anything, you just want it to be, it was cotton material, so it would absorb the oil. Yeah. The other thing is these are knit in, the yarn is just plain old, it's scraps of just plain old cotton dishcloth. So it's actually really hard to like make make one that's not like a big hole or something. And I've decided if I ever make any more of these, it's not gonna be in cotton. But you know, the thing is, they were designed to be for putting in your bag, to put cedar oil on, so that you can keep the moths out. So it seems counterproductive to make them out of wool. So it seemed to cancel the purpose. So I understand why she did it in cotton, but it's hard to work with. Hey, I don't know, but they're really cute, aren't they? If nothing else, I got these cute strawberries that will be floating around in my arms.
Did you use the needles, or did you use the circular needle?
I don't do magical purpose in my brain. So I put them on 3 needles. I did 3 needles all the way around and double points. And of course for the I-cord at the top, you have to be double points. So, thank you. Thank you.
This is a free pattern on Rapidly, and I have an antique buffet that I wanted to make a table runner for. And this yarn I just happened to pick up at our luncheon last night. So thank you, whoever. But it was really nice yarn, it was like 12 balls of yarn. And it was Morocco Ultra Silk. So thank you. So anyway, I found this pattern that I liked. And I made this. And I didn't weave in all the ends, I just got it done. But it's about 74 inches long.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, how much time did we take?
It's 2:33. What, 10 minutes?
10 minutes?
Just wait for some tables.
Take 10 minutes and then we'll reassemble at our table area.
I have her around to
What's the last
She'll
name?
be back. She'll be back. Lee.
Oh, Lee, she's the.
Lee. Okay.
She took her camera out to the
Yay,
front.
Lee. Okay, we'll get that to her when she comes back. And Kathy Schonlau for the $50 Yardcom gift card.
I can bring it to her. I live here close.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can do that.
I don't know about
Sure,
that.
Kathy.
That's close.
If they're not here, they don't get it.
Or should we redraw?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, that's it. I'll give this to Lee when she comes back in. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to Yarncom.
Do you guys want to hear announcements from Yarncom?
Yes.
Okay, so next weekend, this November 17th through the 19th, we're doing a trunk show in 316 Dye Studio. She's out of Wichita. She's bringing her Bob Ross inspired collection. We have lots of fun goodies. We're also doing a mug paint party. So you'll come and paint a ceramic mug with a instructor from that painting spot, which is one of our neighbors in our plaza. And then December 1st and 2nd, we're doing a trunk show with Leading Men Fiber Arts. So they will be doing a trunk show and bringing all of their show yarn in as well. So we've got lots of fun stuff happening. Any questions?
When the mug thing is?
Yeah, that is Saturday, November 18th. And that's on our website, so you can sign up there as well. Yay!
And thank you to Yarncom for providing fabulous products. Good, turn it on, May.
Okay, is it on?
It's on.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to go through a few things on needles to start with. The first thing I have is, how many of you have noticed that there are different numbers on different needles? Here is a chart. This is US sizes, this is UK sizes, these are crochet hooks. Then there's a totally different one for Japanese.
Sorry, I have to go to the bathroom.
You want a prize.
So I have these here, and the website that this came from will be in the newsletter. It has some other information on needles. All All right. I think we probably all know straight needles. Anybody still use straight needles? Yeah. We have wood, we have plastic, we have metal. There are all kinds of them. Then we have plastic ones. Who has plastic needles? What's the problem with them? Well, they also don't undo the older ones. This one's a little better. But the older ones don't. So I very seldom use my mother's knitting needles that are plastic. Then we have metal ones. These are circular needles. Most of the, all of these are fixed. You can't change them. This is one I have some in a kit. It's actually got a wire coated with something. And I really like it. You can see it comes out. One little, where was my little one? This one, right here. This one is a real cheap one. I don't remember for sure where I got it. But this plastic is just stuck on there. It's not really being held by anything. And if you knit a hat with this, they tend to break because it's too small of a crossover. One of the other things is we have needles from 1 to 50. And both of them have their own problems. I left this on here so you can try. I am just trying to figure out how many stitches to make a prayer shawl. So if you want to try this, you may. I have about 15 balls of this stuff that somebody donated and they didn't want to use it for the newborn babies. So that's another one. Okay, then we have some kits. Guess where this is from? Japan or China? One of the two. It has all of your circular needles. I think they're in UK sizing.
Can I see May?
Then it has double point needles. 2 lengths. These are the type that Shetland knitters use because they use a belt where they hook it into something and knit while they're walking around the sheet. The interesting thing about this one, it did come with the crochet hooks. It does come with a little thing that probably matches these size for a needle sizer. It also came with a paper measuring tape. It did not match inches or millimeters. It went in the trash in a hurry. So this was a cheap buy on Amazon. I think it was less than $15. Okay, going down, my favorite needles are Knit Picks and Knitter's Pride. Those kits I left at home. But this is the Knitter's Knit Picks, metal ones, and I really like them. One little tip with these, you probably all know that there comes with a pin that you put in a hole of one part of it or the other. Then you try to turn this. Your fingers are going to slip on the needle if they're slippery. This came with a couple of the different knitting needles I have. If you hold it with this, it actually keeps this from slipping so that you can get it tighter. What's the biggest problem with interchangeables? They can come apart. So
Also, if you don't have one of those little pads, the expensive shelf paper, that kind of,
this. These little things will grab them too, and they're nice and small. I keep a couple of them with my knitting all the time.
Have you had problems with the Knit Picks coming apart when you ever?
Knit picks, I think I had 1 or 2, and I'm not sure if it's the needle point or if it's the cable. I have
That's
cable
the
that I
one I
think.
haven't had problems with. The others I did. Coming apart.
Okay, then these are 2 other ones. This one is a boys set, B-O-Y-E. And I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. I have my mother's original set of these. The cables have wires and plastic around them. The plastic is very hard, you cannot change it now. So these have been around for a long time. The interesting thing is, most of the interchangeables in these kind of sets go down to a 4. These have a 3. And I said, oops. So I checked it. These actually will fit on the cables, and the cables are also a 3. So you can do that with these. This is the cover set in wood. You cannot do that with these. This 3 is bigger or smaller than the connection. But here you have your choice of wood, metal. I also have some in these composites that I like. One of them, the end of it shredded kind of, and it really tore up my yarn, so I ordered some new ones of those. Then there are what I consider my best set of the Shibu, or Shibu. These are the little ones, and I mean they're little. They go from 0 up to a 3 in vector. And there you can see they're short. There's 2 different sizes here. I've done a sock with these. I think I like Magic Glue better because I can do 2 at a time. But otherwise they do work. It does take a little bit to get used to them. So don't be surprised. And then they have the Shigu longer ones in the smaller, and I also have a knit pick set of short ones, which I will set up if you would like to try that, because they are small, and it does take you a while to get used to using them so small. Okay. Then these are the double points. How many of you have double points? How often do you use them now?
All the time.
I like them. I think they're fun to use, but I usually go with the Magic Glue because I take my knitting out so many places the double points tend to fall out. So these are different sizes. I showed you the 50. Here's a quad 0. And I use this for Christmas socks ornaments. And you can get them down to, you can get 1 0 down to 4 0. And I believe they all came in one set when I got those. The metal ones will bend, the wood ones break. So the Carbanzo are a wood with metal tips. And I'm actually using those on some double knitting as well in an interchangeable circular needle.
So, May, I have a suggestion for people who like double points and want to be able to carry them around. There are numerous products that you can flatten your knitting out, put the ends, cover the ends either with something that's on elastic, or there are tubes, very much like the tubes that you use for double points, with the middle cut out, so your knitting can hang out, and you put the points in the tubes so that you don't have your knitting fall off of your double points, because I hate Magic Glue.
And I forgot to bring those with me, but I do have those. And they are very helpful for socks or some other things. And I have actually used them with circular needles because it will hold it.
Yeah.
That's another option. Okay. All righty. On my list here. I've had several here, and I double checked a yarn shop. Found another brand I'd forgotten about. Okay, let's take a vote here. How many of you have used Addi needles? The one thing I found with those, if they're brass colored, your hands kind of change their color after a while. You just have to clean them with some alcohol. Shigu. Likey. I was told if you like Addis, that the Likey are similar. They have a little duller point to them, and they are wood. How many of you have tried a Hiya? I got mine for my first pair of socks, or second pair of socks. My finger, and I do not push, but just like raising it over my needle tore my finger up. I had to learn how to knit without touching the needle. How many have knitted flag? Knit picks. Very easy to get. Boy, B-O-Y-E. If you have straight needles, you probably have some of those for sure. They're really good needles. Clover. And Carbanza. A couple of you. Okay. And how do you use them? How many interchangeables do you use? Interchangeable? Straight needles. Circular needles. Fixed. And double point needles. We've got a good selection here. All right, what are they made of? Metal? Wood? I find stitches don't tend to stick quite as much with the wood. Plastic? I don't know for sure what to call some of these. They're kind of composite. They look like a wood, but they're actually different things put together. Kind of a composite. Yeah. And square needles. We have somebody who's willing to share them if you would like to try. There's a lot of words out there that, hey, it's easier on your hands. My set of square needles is in a project. So I couldn't bring them. So that's what I have on needles. What I'd like to see is if any of you have some really, really, really strong feelings, good or bad, about a particular kind of needle. If you would share that here. Anybody?
I have some sling needles, which are metal with wheels. And in the small sizes, they're great, but then I bought one in a size 9, and they're heavy and they slip. And it's just not project friendly at all. But in the smaller sizes, it's good.
Yeah. They do vary. Anyone else?
I got some of the Knit Picks interchangeables probably 10 or more years ago. And the cable has actually slid out of the little metal one that screws onto the tips on one of them. And so I heard they're used by interchangeables.
One of the things is Knit Picks will replace it.
Yeah, all you have to do is call them.
They will replace it. I actually had a cable that would not accept the needle and stay put. So I just got rid of that one because the needle tip worked in the other cables, but it wouldn't work in this one cable. Okay, if you have needles that you are willing to share a trial, I have yarn here in a bag. This little pink one's full of yarn. And I have a couple of things here in straight needles. If those of you who have something you wish to share will sit on the outside, and those of you who want to try, walk around on the center. I'll get this one cleared off. And then we'll switch. So if you don't get a chair the first time to show off your needles, you'll get the other one in about 10 minutes. So go ahead and pick up the side that you want to sit on.